G'day viewers, Retro Man here. Today I'm here to talk about Elvis 2022. I've just seen it for the first time on 4K. I had a blast with this one, and if you want to know what I think, stay tuned for more.
Coming to you from a basement studio somewhere down under, it's the 80s Show with Australia's Retro Man. On tonight's show, Retro Man brings you part one of his review of Elvis 2022 starring Austin Butler. Well, what are we waiting for? Lights, camera, Retro Man.
G'day viewers, Retro Man here and welcome to the 80s Show. Now today I'll be talking about Elvis 2022 and giving you my thoughts and feelings. Now I've watched this film for the very first time. I splashed out and got the 4K Blu-ray combo pack because I missed it in the cinemas, and I'm a big Elvis fan. So watching this at home on my home theatre was a good experience, but I tell you what guys, there's a lot of positives I have to say about this film. And there's a few things that I think, okay guys, they could have improved on. But overall, this is a 2 hour and 40 minute spectacle. This is a whirlwind look at Elvis's life, and it doesn't let up for a second.
He was my destiny. I wish to promote you, Mr. Presley.
As I said, 2 hours and 40 minutes, I mean, that's a long running time, and it just kind of whizzed by. It whizzed by that fast. I was left wanting more, okay? I wanted more depth, more detail, more Elvis. So I'll give you my take on Elvis 2022, and let's start with Baz Luhrmann, the director. Now, Baz Luhrmann brings a lot of style, a lot of energy, and a lot of fast cutting to his films. And what can I say about this one? It kind of moves like a music video at times. It's that fast cut. And you're either going to love that or it's going to be exhausting for you. And what can I say, guys? I mean, Baz Luhrmann, was he the right guy for the job? Well, he's certainly got the technical skills to make this a spectacle, an event film, and it feels like it, but it moves so fast that when we want it to slow down and get into the intricacies of Elvis's life, so we get even more that depth of the character, the man, his heart, his soul, his feelings, his movements, it kind of misses the mark in that regard. But as a really surface splash and pomper, I mean, it delivers. It delivers. I mean, he had a hurricane whirlwind life for a number of years there, and it was just so fast-paced. He was the king of rock and roll. And I mean, everyone wanted to emulate this guy. He was the man. He was the hillbilly cat, the country guy that became a rock and roll star. And this film kind of explores the origins. I mean, you could look at it in a way as a superhero origin story to an extent, but I think I wanted even more about Elvis's childhood. I wanted more on his relationship with his mum. I certainly wanted more interaction between Elvis and his dad. I mean, Elvis's dad is there, but I mean, let's share some more intimate moments and get to the crux of the two of them together going on this journey. I mean, it was one heck of a ride. But this film is, it's almost too fast-paced for its own good. Like I said, it needs to take a breath once in a while. And that's what I think I wanted it to do. So Baz Luhrmann has the technical prowess for a spectacle like this, but maybe it was too much Baz and not enough Elvis. I will say that. So let's look at Austin Butler now. I mean, Austin Butler really has that Elvis thing going on. I mean, he's got the voice, he's got the moves, and after a while, as the film goes on, you kind of get that Elvis vibe from him. I mean, even his look. I mean, there's a turning point in this film, and that turning point is the 68 comeback special. And when that happens, I mean, it's a really good recreation of that. And that's when he kind of really slips into Elvis mode, and Austin Butler nails it during the 68 stuff. And I think he was a good vessel for Elvis. I mean, it's hard to top the real thing, but this guy has a lot of swagger, and he kind of really pulls off those energetic musical sequences. But maybe, I mean, just maybe, Baz Luhrmann let him down a little bit, because I wanted to see some dramatic moments with Elvis. Something that really touched me a bit more. I mean, there was a lot going on in his life beyond the spectacle. I mean, I think it could have went deeper and touched some more heartfelt stuff here. And I would have liked Austin to explore that with his acting chops, rather than just, giving us this amazing visual Elvis impersonation, which he does so well. But I wanted some more acting from Austin when it came to the dramatics. So maybe that's a story thing. Maybe that's a bit of a problem with the script. Or maybe they cut some of the more dramatic moments out and kept it just moving at a clip. But Tom Hanks, let's talk about him. I mean, Colonel Tom Parker. This film is called Elvis, but in some ways it's told from Colonel Tom Parker's point of view. So the reality is, this film is more Elvis and the Colonel than just Elvis. I mean, Tom Hanks is this figure that is kind of foreboding to a degree. I mean, in some ways, I like Tom Hanks as an actor. He's a great actor. But in some ways, he's a bit irritating in this film, because Colonel Tom is kind of like, the portrayal is a little bit penguinish. I mean, do you remember Batman Returns with Danny DeVito as the Penguin? I mean, that's the vibe here. I mean, he kind of waddles into the picture and kind of creeps you out a bit. And I mean, I think Elvis and the Colonel had a pretty good relationship from what I've heard. I mean, in this, he comes across as a villain. And I'm still not quite sure that the Colonel is as villainous as this film portrays. So you've got Elvis as the singing superhero to a degree. That's kind of how Baz Luhrmann's mapped it out. And you've got Tom Hanks as Colonel Tom, and he's kind of the super villain. So that's the vibe that this film brings us at times, and I don't know whether that was the correct direction for this to go, but obviously he wanted to encapsulate Elvis's story through the lens of Colonel Tom, and that's what Baz has done. So take it or leave it, but this is an Elvis epic. I mean, this tells the story of his life with a lot of splash, a lot of colour, a real vibrancy and energy. There's a lot of music in this thing.
We are the same, you and I. We are two odd, lonely children reaching for eternity.
So that's my initial viewing of Elvis 2022. I'm so happy to have this in my collection. I think it's a pretty solid film. Austin Butler, hey, he nails it. Tom Hanks, take from it what you will. I mean, it was a hard role to play in the confines of the story and what Baz Luhrmann was trying to obviously achieve, which is portraying Colonel Tom as a villain. And was it like that? I mean, tell me, guys. I mean, every Elvis fan has a take on this. Was Colonel Tom really the villain that this film kind of portrays him to be? That's what I'd like to know. What do you think about Elvis 2022? What do you think about the portrayal of Austin Butler as the King of Rock and Roll? And what do you think about Tom Hanks as Colonel Tom Parker? Tell me what you think about Elvis 2022, because I want to hear about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's Elvis Presley.
Well, I tell you what, guys, at 2 hours and 40 minutes, this Baz Luhrmann epic, really, I mean, my head is spinning. That's what it has done to me. And I have so much more to say, but I think I'm going to put Retro Man on pause for a moment, take some time out, and come back a little later and talk some more about this film. But I will say, on my home cinema, this 4K looks fantastic. So it looks great, it sounds great, and Austin Butler, I mean, the performance, really. They're talking Oscars, so I have a lot more to say about this guy, and I will say it when I see you again. So I'm going to get some time out and come back with Elvis 2022, episode 2 of my review, and let's have the dust settle for a little while, and I'll add some more about what I think this film is all about. So until then, guys, like, comment, and subscribe, and keep watching the 80s show because I have a lot more coming your way. Until then, this is Retro Man, living the dream, 80s style. Stay gold.
The greatest show on earth.
Thanks for watching. Retro Man will return faster than a boomerang and more exciting than Baz Luhrmann's biopic.
Well, that's all right, mama.
Please subscribe and good night, viewers.